Hey everyone, so today's November the 1st and that means I have 3 days, not even 3 days left actually, 2 days left until my PhD viva. I've talked about my viva a little bit before in previous vlogs, and it's pretty much the final PhD exam. It's the exam where I'm sat there with my two examiners who have read my thesis. This is my personal copy for now that has 4 pages on 1 page because otherwise it's going to be way too thick. But yeah, so my viva is in 2 days time. I'm going to be sitting there in front of them and they're going to be assessing me and asking me loads of questions, and that's on the 3rd. So yeah, that's in 3 days time, but today's the 1st, so let's just stick with that. Let's not try to move time anymore forward. So I've had to do a few things. Number one, had to make a presentation, and these are some of the results that I found, and that is my conclusion, which I'm so proud of. And yeah, so this is sort of the results that I found, and I'm really looking forward to present. So what I've done is I've printed out my thesis, 4 pages on 1 page, just because otherwise it's going to be way too thick. And what I've done is I've kind of annotated the presentation. So if I've talked about method, I've kind of written down what the method is, how the different drugs work, and then in my results section I've talked about the work that other people have done and how this relates to my work. And I've also kind of given the reasons for any statements that I've concluded with, things like that. So it's pretty in-depth. There's no way that I'm going to remember everything that I've written here actually, but I think, you know, the whole point of a viva is for it to be a formality and not for it to be something scary and daunting. As long as you've done the work, then you are the expert in that room, and that's something that everyone keeps on telling me. So that's one thing that I've done. The other thing that I've done is kind of to make summary pages containing all the interactions. So for example, this page here contains all the interactions that the proteins that I'm looking at, and that kind of has summarized everything in a very nice and neat way. The other thing I've done is to pick out the main papers relating to my work. So these are the main papers that relate to my work, these 5 even. And what I've done is just made sure to look over it properly and just to find the key information and the key points that relate to my work. And just try to annotate my thesis with that information. And that's pretty much all I've done. This handout that I want to give the examiners when I enter the room, so that we can go through a few things together with them on paper. I'm just gonna get back onto revising and practicing for my presentation tonight. It's quite late already. It's it's 6 p.m, but it's quite dark in London. Until then, I'll chat to you guys tomorrow. Bye. Morning everyone. It's the 3rd of November, which is the day of my viva. Oh my gosh. It is currently 5 a.m. That focuses. Yeah, it's 5 a.m. on the 3rd of November. I've been taking a last look at my presentation to make sure that everything looks fine. And I've also been doing some last minute, like not scrambling, but sort of last minute revision and things like that. So I'm just going to be doing this for the next couple of hours. My viva is at 1 p.m, so I've got some time in the morning to be able to go through things and make sure that I'm really able to justify all the answers that I want to give, and I'll check in with you guys a bit later on. I don't like to Good morning everyone from not the normal street that I walked down. Oh my gosh, I feel like it's been so long since I have touched my camera or done anything to do with YouTube or anything to do with vlogging or anything like that at all. What's new? So much has happened. Go check out my Instagram if you want to see more. Go to simply_Amina. Check out more. Yes, so what else happened? Yeah, I passed my viva, which is really exciting. That was like the thing I was kind of dreading the most in 2017. The thing that I don't want to say I knew I'd pass, because you know there's always opportunities to fail and there's always a possibility of failing, but I was confident that I would do well, but I didn't know how it would go, and the fact that there's a possibility that you could fail is always something that is quite scary and quite daunting. It went really, really well. My examiners were so nice. From the minute I sat down, they said to me, that you've done really well, we really like your thesis, and this is just a casual chat, and this is just a formality really. And that really kind of made me feel at ease, because it made me think to myself, all right, you know what, they're not here to test you, they're not here to scrutinize your knowledge and to make you feel like you don't know anything. In actuality, they're here to just to have a chat with you and to see what you've been up to and to see what research you've been doing, and just to kind of make sure that you are who you are and that you're genuine really. I think until this point no one has checked that I am who I am, if that makes sense. But at this point it becomes a formality and it becomes something real, and for that reason, yeah, it went really well. It was 4 hours long, guys. It was 4 hours long. So it started at 1 p.m. and it finished at 5 p.m. and that was only by force. It was because the examiners had to go, and so then it finished, but we were still going through our thesis, my thesis, and it just was, yeah, it just was never ending. But like I said, it was just a chat, so it was nothing too serious and it was nothing too sort of daunting, and they were really nice to me, and yeah, I had a really, I just had a good time, but I had a really good time. Such a geek, aren't I? I had a really good time, and it was nice to talk about my work, and it was nice to hear what other people think about my work as well, so that was really nice. Right now I am editing my thesis. So what happens is, after you do your viva, you have a few minor corrections. Okay, you either have, so after you do your viva, you have a number of different categories that you can fall into. You can fall into the pass, and that's it, there's nothing else to do, just you passed. That never happens, very rarely happens, so yeah, and you never expect to get that. The other one is some minor corrections. So for that you need to just maybe some small like pictures have to be changed, or some small details have to be changed, but something that will take you maybe 1 or 2 hours sitting down, and like maybe a couple of hours sitting down and getting that done. And then there's major corrections where you have to like redo experiments, and that's something that I really didn't want to do, because obviously I started working now and I don't have the time to go and redo experiments. And then the final one is, if you fail, they can submit you for a master's. So instead of getting a PhD, you get a master's, which is, yeah. Let's not talk about that one. I know someone that ended up in that situation and it's not nice. I got minor corrections, and my corrections were really minor. There were a few errors in spelling, a few errors in sort of word, yeah, just a few minor kind of errors, and I was like, is this my corrections really? So it's really nice, and I'm just kind of doing them now, and I try to do that on my research day where I have time to just sit down and get on with it. What else has happened? I went to Santorini. Ooh, I went to Santorini. So I went to Santorini last month, and like I said, go to my Instagram, you can see more pictures about like what I did there and stuff. I didn't vlog it, so there's nothing going to be coming up about Santorini, but it was such a nice trip, and it was my dream. Like, you can wait, hang on, let me show you something. Let me show you how much I love Santorini. Oh, this is Santorini is the background of my desktop. It's just the best. It's just the best. So I thought I'd show you a few things that I thought were quite interesting, and that are useful for those of you that are doing a PhD or that are about to defend their thesis. Even if it's a master's thesis as well, I think this kind of yeah, definitely relates to a master's thesis too. First thing is my actual thesis. I printed out 2 copies in the last vlog that you saw, which was the last vlog in August. Yeah, I printed out 2 copies of these. I gave one to each examiner. So one was based in Bristol and the other examiner was based in UCL. So I gave one to each, and inside I had a USB with some of my data and some of my the videos that I've used. And this one was one examiner's one. They both gave my thesis back to me because in it they had some like comments and they wanted me to use to edit, and it was quite helpful to see the comments and quite helpful to see sort of what their thinking was when they went through my thesis. I printed out my own copy of my thesis, but I printed it out in a way that I could carry it around and travel and read it. 4 pages per page. Now this was really helpful because it allowed me to put this in my bag and read it when I was in the tube, read it when I was on the bus, just pick it up, scribble on it, and I really have it at hand. And it was really important because in the actual examination itself, when they were saying, oh, go to page 121, and in there you can see you said this, this, and this, what do you think about this, 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 and that? And I had this in front of me and I could just refer to it very quickly. And inside I also had my notes, so I scribbled quite a few different things inside it, and I'll show you what I've scribbled. I think I did show actually before. Kind of like an open book exam, I guess, that's what you can kind of call it. So when they asked me questions, I was able to just go to the page and then quickly look at the notes that I had written already, and the notes that I had written were very specific notes, so it allowed me to just kind of jog my memory about what it was that I wanted to talk about.
The two things I would definitely recommend is, number one, have your thesis at hand. Make sure that you know every single chemical that you've used. Make sure that this is referring to biology PhD, I guess. Make sure you know every single chemical that you've used. Make sure that you know every single detergent that you've used, every single drug that you've used, anything that you've used. Make sure you know what it does. If you've written something in your thesis, you must know what it does. I remember there was something I wrote in it, and the examiners asked me about it, and I was like, oh, I didn't really do it. This was done by someone else, but but he was like, no, if it's in your thesis, you should know it. You can't put something in your thesis that you don't know. You don't have to have done it, but you have to know how to describe it at least, or know the theory behind that experiment. The other day in the post, I got this letter, and I just have all the comments they wrote, they wrote for me here. This is my list of corrections, guys. I'm so lucky. I don't have any corrections. Literally, my correction is a few typos. Page 87, top line E should be NE. Page 167, missing word between due and being. Due to being. Key is to be able to enjoy it. I don't think it should be stressful, and I don't think it should be something that's a big deal to worry about. You've done the hardest bit. The hardest bit is writing the thesis. The hardest bit is doing the research. That's the hardest bit. The viva shouldn't be something difficult. It should be something that's like second nature, because you've already done your PhD. Your PhD is done. It's done. Let me quickly show you actually what I am wearing today. This grey check trousers, as you can see, it's very cute. These are from Uniqlo. This top is from She Inside, I believe, and I've got a hijab chiffon, and yeah, that's it really. And then I've got my what I'm going to be going with is my Cambridge satchel, which just looks really smart when you wear it with anything really. I've really enjoyed showing my PhD on this channel for the past, I guess the past year. Just being someone that's representing the PhD community in YouTube, because there aren't many of us, and it is nice to be able to be someone that people genuinely look up to and respect. And it is, I don't know, it's quite an honour, and I just want to say thank you for all the support. The next PhD vlog you'll see will be my graduation, which will be in the summer. So no more PhD related vlogs for the next the next couple months, I guess. The only thing I'll change is that I started this earlier. I really wish that I had documented my whole PhD just for my own purpose, if not for anything else, just to see sort of how I've grown and where I've come from and where I've come to, but it doesn't matter. The next vlog will be in the summer. Next PhD vlog will be in the summer, but until then I'll definitely be on YouTube doing other things, so keep your eyes peeled for that, and I will see you all soon. Bye.